The following announcement has been paid for by Bullet Club.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Welcome everyone to the first episode of Cast Speaks. I am your host, MekelKasanova. You guys know who I am. I'm Hawaii's favorite YouTuber. And I'm coming at you with this podcast. I've been saying for months I was going to go ahead and start one. And now this is going to be the first episode, the inaugural episode. And I've got quite a bit of things I want to talk about. And we're going to hit... It's kind of gonna be an organic, flowing conversation. So let's go ahead and dive into a couple topics. And this one's gonna primarily be focused around gaming. You know, well, most will be focused around gaming. Now, let's go ahead and start off with this Amazon controversy right now. So apparently, and you guys have probably seen my clapback video where I talked about some of the issues I had with Amazon. Well, not some of the issues, the main issue. They canceled my SNES Classic, told me I had 5 days to change the address after they'd already canceled my pre-order. So I'm a little salty with that. Alright? So anyway. And to come and find out that if you're not part of the contiguous United States, or if your state is not connected to the main continent, the mainland, as we say out here in Hawaii, of the United States, then you're kind of ass out. So if you live in Alaska, you're living in Hawaii, you're kind of screwed, because they're gonna they gave us a BS reason. They gave me a complete BS reason, stating that hazardous materials and all this other stuff. I'm like, for real though? Do you guys ship Nintendo Switches? You guys ship PlayStation 4s, Xbox Ones? You guys ship computers? Cell phones? But an SNES Classic is hazardous material? Are we serious right now? So that one kind of just rubbed me the complete wrong way, because I couldn't understand why they didn't just come right out and say the truth, that they oversold and they didn't have enough product to meet the demand. They could have easily have done so, but for whatever reason, Amazon decided not to own up to that and gave us BS reason. Now, and a lot of people out here in Hawaii who've actually been able to successfully get in contact with Amazon. I have not at all, maybe because of my rant video, my clapback, but yeah, Amazon has not replied to me whatsoever. Most people out here in Hawaii, I've heard, and I'm gonna give a shout out. Let me actually pull up the user's name, because I want to give him some recognition, because he was able to get some feedback from Amazon. His name is Sean Layden. On Twitter, his handle is MauiWowie23. So that's MauiWowi 23. I'm going to go ahead and give him a follow right now. He's actually been able to get in contact with Amazon. They're offering up to $100 credit. And I guess in some instances, they're also saying that the users will get their SNES Classic. All kinds of just reasons that are not really making a whole lot of sense. But I know some people would say, it's better than nothing. But my whole issue is that that's not the point. It's about the principle of the matter. And you can't do business where, this is the same type of BS that Walmart got called out on. You can't do this kind of business. If you're overselling because you're trying to capitalize on the fact that this item is probably the hottest thing, or the second hottest item of the year from Nintendo, then yeah, you're going to try to capitalize on it. Okay, cool. But it's bad business for you to sell something that you don't have the inventory for. That's like somebody saying, I'm gonna go out and get this for instance, I'm going to use Best Buy. As you guys know, I really, really don't like Best Buy anymore. Even though they have the better gaming thing with the Gamers Club Unlocked, which, you know, it gets 20% off of brand new games, 10% off of digital content. Yes, that's a plug, people. It's a plug. Even though it's better than Gamers Club with whatever it's called, the thing that GameStop has, Power Up Rewards. I'm going to use Best Buy as an example. Even though with them you're able to, for instance, say get a Best Buy credit card or any credit card for that matter, and you're going to go out and you're going to just max out this credit card, knowing full well you don't have the money to pay that off or even make the monthly payments if they offer that, which I know Best Buy for a fact, and most credit card companies offer a 6, 12, or 24 month, or even sometimes 18 month. And yes, you guys are hearing the bus in the background. It's number 8. Hop on it if you're trying to go to the west side to Waipahu. Anyway, most companies will offer a 6, 12, 18, or 24 month monthly installment plan where it's deferring the interest and you're just paying that price. But that's like, you know, getting back to my point, that's like getting that credit card and you're going to pretty much max it out knowing you can't make the monthly payments, knowing that there's no way you can pay it off. A lot of kids in college have done that with credit cards. I am one of them because I was stupid with credit. My parents did not educate me on credit cards or the crediting system. However, that's my point. You're using something, or you're taking advantage of something that you have no way of, you know, being held accountable for, or having the inventory for, or being able to pay back. And that bites you in the ass in the long run. So I don't understand exactly why Walmart and Amazon in this instance were able to make such a flubber of a situation. Like, why did they do that? I don't understand the logic behind it. It eludes me because it could have been done so much better. Like, and I think for me, I personally would not have been so angry if they would just have been honest with the fact that, hey, you know, we actually oversold. When we do get, you know, they could have said, hey, when we do get more inventory in, we will honor, you know, you getting yours, you know, we'll give you a temporary credit for it, or, you know, give a half off, or even just, you know, put you in a queue for when it comes back in, anything. But for those of us in Alaska, and especially out here in Hawaii, like, it's just wrong how Amazon and most companies treat those of us who are not part of the contiguous United States. Because okay, out here in Hawaii, I can't even get a battery case shipped directly to me from Amazon because of some type of regulation or whatever. But I can have it sent anywhere in the continental U.S. without any issues, just not to Hawaii. I can't get the UPC or APC backup for my workstation because I can't ship it here to Hawaii directly. And it's things like that that are just really annoying. And I hope, Amazon, if you guys are listening, that you would take strides to improve that, because it should not be that way. It should not be that difficult trying to get anything to Hawaii, to Alaska. Like, there shouldn't be these barriers or these conditional treatment, or, you know, preferential treatment towards people within the contiguous U.S. versus, you know, those of us that are, you know, either out here in the Pacific Ocean on one of the 8 islands, or, well, actually 7 of the islands you can actually go to, but or if you're in Alaska. Like, that's not fair in my eyes at all. So Amazon, I will reach out again to you guys. Hopefully you give me something. I'm in a much calmer mind state right now than I was before. I was just it just upset me. I'm a very strict person when it comes to a very practical person when it comes to things. Don't screw me over. Don't screw over people that I'm trying to help, and we're cool. You could have gave me a simple answer, and I would have been fine with that. But the fact that you said nothing, you gave me a BS reason. That is exactly why I raged the way I did, and I did that clap back. So I apologize for the lack of professionality there, but it is what it is. It really upset me that that had to happen. Anyway, moving on to other news. Okay, so this is going to come from a lot of people have been complaining about the news when it comes to NBA 2K18, WWE 2K18, as well as Skyrim. I guess another bunch of big games, possibly even Fallout 4 Game of the Year edition. They're going to be dropping. Well, the Fallout 4 is kind of still speculatory at this point, but in Brazil there's a reservation tab if you want to order that, which means that's more likely. I mean, I don't doubt it's going to happen. The Switch is not as weak as people think it is. A lot of people just... This is kind of like back in the day with Nintendo and Sega when people were like, oh, you're playing with superpower, or now you're playing with power, or now you got blast processing. Now it's got mega power. All this other BS that people... Anyway, so people think the Switch is weak, for one. Okay, I get it. It's Nintendo. Nintendo has a stigma that has been attached to them for the last, I want to say, since the Wii. Because oddly enough, a lot of people don't realize that the GameCube was the second most powerful console of that generation. It was right behind the Xbox, the original one, and significantly more powerful than the PlayStation 2. But the only thing that hampered that was the lunchbox design, which the thing is, it's like, if you guys haven't already, check out the podcast with myself and Mr. Biggs and our podcast is Tech Etc. We'd already talked about this previously, where Nintendo has since the GameCube, they've been trying to go for portability and functionality. So since then, that whole design, the lunchbox design, along with the handle, the mini DVDs that it used, it kind of hurt. It really did hurt because it only had so much storage on it. If they had went with the traditional console, they could have done a lot better. I mean, the games that came out for the GameCube were not bad games. They were solid titles. In retrospect, it's easy to look back and say the GameCube was a solid console. It's easy to say the 64 was. Even though, in my opinion, I feel like the 64 was kind of a weak... I would rate the 64, along with the Wii, as two of the weaker entries as far as power. Even though the 64 is more powerful in its heyday. It was just the fact that developers did not want to put in the effort to develop a very powerful game for the most powerful console that was out. They wanted to cut corners. They wanted ease of programming. I guess it was harder for them to condense things into the games that they wanted to make. That's why Final Fantasy VII went to the PlayStation when originally it was supposed to be for the N64. Companies just didn't want to put the effort to develop for something that it cost more, and it didn't work out for Nintendo in the end. Even though it's the most powerful console of that generation, a lot of people, companies didn't want to develop for that. Again, and like I said, in retrospect, you look back on it, the GameCube had significantly great titles, but if you were growing up in that time frame, there were some multi-platform titles that came out, but the PlayStation was just a head and foot above everything else. It just had, if you really had to break it down, the PlayStation 2 is probably considered by many as the greatest console of all time, just because there is so much diversity in what came to it. You had literally everything. You had fighters, you had racing games, you had shooters, you had RPGs, you had I think it had a couple MMOs. I know it definitely had Final Fantasy 11. It's not something I ever really got into. Back then, having internet at home was not a commonplace thing, nor was having a computer. They cost a grip to own, and they were pretty hard for the common individual back then to really know how to troubleshoot. So, you know, my family at the time, we had a computer down the road, but not during the 90s. We actually had the Sega Dreamcast using the Sega Net to connect to the internet, if you guys remember that. But yeah, so the PlayStation 2 was just the greatest console of that generation. Even though the GameCube had better looking graphics and some games that were just arguably the best of its generation, I feel like a lot of games are just overshadowed, especially when it comes to, like, you know, Super Mario Sunshine, Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Now, Wind Waker now is considered great. Back when it came out, it was so much backlash on that whole cell shaded look, and people just really, really hated it. It just, you know, and I'm gonna circle this back around. I probably, and this is what, you know, like Cam and I say, you know, organic conversations. It just flows. So, you know, circling back to my point of how the GameCube was limited by its storage capacity. Now the Nintendo Switch is running to that same wall, with most of these cartridges only having 25 gigs or less. I want to say 15 gigs of actual storage on the cartridge. And now a lot of developers, they're so used to making games that are 50 gigs, 60 gigs. And a lot of people are like, oh, you know, they're losing their mind right now. Case in point, Switchforce. You know, they're a YouTube collective group of various guys. I think one of the guys has 1 million subscribers. I probably said this already. They're complaining right now because they're like, oh, well, we kind of figured it, you know, especially with the Switch coming out with only 32 gigs of storage, and, you know, this is going to be a big problem overall because now, you know, these developers are not going to require you to have a micro SD card to install more of the game on, and this is going to be a whole big problem. I just watched their video, and I'm over here like, can you guys please take this seat and shut the fuck up? I mean, I swear, I'm going to put this out there. I cannot personally stand Switchforce, and most of the YouTubers actually kind of just popped up riding the Nintendo Switch wave. And now, yes, I've done giveaways for the Nintendo Switch. Yes, I kind of reap the benefits of that. But that's not the point I'm getting to. When you're focusing your whole channel purely around the Nintendo Switch, in the sense of you're not really covering information in the most informative way, I have an issue with it. Now, to give you a contrast to the types of YouTubers and content creators I dislike, I'm going to go ahead and say the ones that I do like that give the most informative Nintendo Switch content or Nintendo and gaming news content. That's going to be, first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to Player Essence, because this man, I followed him for years. I'm friends with him now. He just covers information in the most informative way possible. And you know, he's not a ride the wave hype type of person. He gives you all the information you need. He has sorry about that. He has daily videos that he puts out. He does podcasts. He does live streams. He's got his Patreon, so go follow him on Patreon. He has so much informative content that I feel like the content creators and YouTubers who are following the Nintendo Switch hype and, you know, building their channels, and they've tapered off. There's a reason why they've tapered off, because they're not giving you informative, knowledgeable content like Player Essence. They need to look at this man and see what he's doing, because there's the difference between I'm gonna put it this way. I used to work, I'm a marketing major. So there's two types of things when it comes to marketing. There's the explosive success that comes when you're just riding a wave of whatever's popular, and eventually when that wave dies out, you taper off, right? And then there are those who are consistent, and all they do, it may not be the fastest growth, but it's consistent enough for it to keep going and going and going and going. And that's where okay, I need to drink this organic Rockstar right here. And that's where and that's what separates Player Essence, Dr. Trey, 81, and Mr. T. This is what separates them from a lot of the other dribble that's on YouTube. It's because these guys are consistent, they're informative, and they've got great content. And so, any content creators out there listening to this podcast, yeah, y'all need to follow them, learn from them, and as Dr. Trey would say, have that seat. Anyway, so people are complaining about the storage of the Nintendo Switch. There's, Switch Force was saying how they feel that it is wrong, and how they don't agree with the fact that you're gonna have to download. You only get so many modes you can play, and then you have to download the additional data to play the rest of the game. And I'm sitting here watching this video from them, which I believe, let me pull up when they actually upload this video. I think it was, the title of the video is Nintendo has bad, all caps, Switch news, SD card problem. So clickbait title right there. They uploaded this today, September 3rd, a couple hours ago. It already has 8,082 views, right? So I also have a big issue with clickbait titles. But anyway, I'm kind of confused as to why they even thought it was a good idea to, I mean, aside from it gets views, a lot of people do things for views or for recognition or for attention, right? So I'm confused as to why this is considered a problem. First and foremost, when it comes to any game these days, they all require additional storage beyond whatever the disc has or the cartridge, except for, Vita and DS games. Everything else, the PS4, the Xbox One, PC, you've got to download the base game, even though it's on the CD. Well, if you're looking at PlayStation 4 and Xbox, even though it's on the CD, you still have to install it. This actually started with the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. You have to install additional things. You install the game to the hard drive, and then you also have to install whatever patches, updates, whatever. There's nothing new about that. Now, because Nintendo's doing the same thing, it's a problem, and people are feeling some kind of way about this. And burn, fuck Nintendo, blah blah blah. This is the mindset. So this whole video that they had, it's how long is this? This was approximately 11 minutes and 40 seconds of drivel where they're talking about this, and I'm just confused. I'm like, there's nothing new about this. Is it because Nintendo's doing it? And my second question also is, how do you guys go from the Nintendo Switch dick riders to the Nintendo Switch haters? I'm a little confused as to how they're gonna do this. I wanted to pull a John Cena to Roman Reigns and say, hey kid, it's called a promo. If you're gonna be the man, you're gonna have to learn how to do this one of these days. In the sense of, how are they, how? Like, how are they so surprised by this? Now, I know a lot of people are gonna, there was a big, oh my god, I remember when the Switch was announced, people were crying a river over the storage of the Nintendo Switch. Like 32 gigs, like really? How is it only, that's not enough storage, blah, 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 we need more. How do we not have 500 gigs? How do we not have a terabyte storage? Okay, if you guys really don't want to know the reason why, it all comes back to flash NAND storage. It's expensive as fuck right now. And if you think about it, I know the counter argument, like, Switch Force said in that drivel of a video, their statement was, oh, well, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox, you get 500 gigs, you get a terabyte, you get this, and that. That's cool, but that's not flash storage. That's typically a 5400 RPM, 2.5-inch hard drive. And in the case of the Xbox One Elite, that was a SSHD, which is a solid-state hybrid drive. So the OS is probably going to be on the, probably 120 gigs of that storage, and then of the SSD portion, and that partition of it, and then the rest is going to be on a 720 RPM storage, the other half. So, yes, I got kind of technical. Yeah, a lot of you people may not know that I am technical, even though Anyway. Okay, so it comes down to the cost of storage. People were complaining about the Switch not having enough storage, and they were confused. But, okay, why are you confused now? Let's go back to when the Switch was announced and the price was announced. People were crying a bloody fucking river. Cry me a river. Yes, people were crying a river. Cry me a river. Yes, people were crying a river over that $299 price. People said it's too expensive. Why would you pay $300 for this? Blah, blah, blah. Why? Why Nintendo? Why Nintendo? Yes. $299 was too expensive for a lot of people. And then the controller comes out. Pro controller. It was, what is it? $69.99? People complain, it's so fucking expensive. It's so fucking expensive. But we have on the Xbox One the Elite controller, which is $150, and the PS4, DualShock 4, and Xbox One controllers were costing $65. So you mean tell me that's not an issue? But an additional $5 is too expensive. Oh, okay. Whatever, people. Even though this is using USB Type-C and it's got a battery life that blows away the PlayStation 4 shitty battery life, and the Xbox's battery, switching out with Duracells and whatnot, AA batteries. Anyway, it's because Nintendo is doing it that we're gonna cry. So, back to my point of flash storage. It's more expensive. So for them to use 32 gig flash storage probably is what kept the cost below $350. If you throw in tax, $299 with tax, you're probably paying like $325, $330. So it keeps the cost down. Now, if you were to put a terabyte storage in that, or 500 gigs, the cost of the Switch is now going to be competing directly with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. It may have even been more because it's using flash storage. And that flash NAND storage would have probably cost, or made the system cost around $400, $450, $500. And I'm just going to put it out there. People are not going to pay that for a Nintendo product. They're just not. And then I guess there's a counter argument. Well, phones have 128, 256 gigs of storage. Blah 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 blah. Have y'all checked the price of a iPhone lately? Have y'all checked the price of a Samsung phone lately? Hell, even a Google phone lately. The Pixel. You're spending $600 and up, and with the new iPhone and the new Samsungs coming out, you're about to drop a G, homie. A G is gonna be dropped. If you want to be, the center of attention, you want to just, whip out your phone and be like, get that status symbol, you're gonna be dropping it, as LeVar Ball said, if you can't afford, you ain't a big baller brand, So, yeah, that's not even comparable logic. You're not going to compare the flash storage, which is in phones, to what's in the Switch, because the Switch costs significantly less than the high-end smartphones that are out. So, and that's just, I feel like when these guys making these videos, if they're going to be truly informative, they need to talk about stuff like that. Don't just hit the surface level. Go ahead and go into detail. So Switch Force, if you're listening, please, and IGN, GameSpot, Game Informer, I'm not going to touch you guys because y'all are corporate. That's enough on that. Oh yeah, Nintendo Life, another group that it's just drivel to me. Anyway, Switch Force, Nintendo Life. If you guys are going to talk about gaming, then please be informative. Explain why things are what they are. Okay? It's not too hard. So like I said, in conclusion, there's no real issue with the, and to me at least, for the Switch having to download additional data to the SD card. Okay, we kind of, I feel like we knew that was going to happen, or we should have known if we're going to have games that are going to come out that are basically, the same as what it would be on PS4 or Xbox One. Of course, it's going to have, it's going to have that additional storage. And okay, if we were to break it down further, a lot of the times it's either going to be more storage because of either licensing or also audio, because audio takes up a significant, especially if you guys want to backtrack to the Xbox 360 days and PlayStation 3 days, when the same game would come out on both consoles, play like butter on the 360, play like crap on the PS4. If we were to break it down fully, the reason was the PlayStation 3 versions would always have bigger storage files is because more often than not, the audio file is uncompressed. It's uncompressed audio. It takes up more storage, and that is why it costs so much more. But people act like they're not aware of that. Most of the general public probably isn't. Oh, that's why I'm here. MekelKasanova is here to educate you guys on my own podcast as well as on Tech Etc. So, subscribe to Tech Etc. Catch us on iTunes. Yes, that's another plug, people. It's another plug. Anyway, yeah. So it's not like that's new. It was gonna happen. Could Nintendo put in 128 gigs of storage, flash storage on the Switch? Yeah, they could have. Did they? They didn't. Okay, they didn't. Deal with it. Just get a 128 gig. Okay, so look, I had a 64 gig flash, 64 gig micro SD card I was using from day one, and I actually had to upgrade from that to 128 gigs just because a lot of times, and I do prefer having physical copies of games. However, I prefer at times to have digital because of the convenience of not having to take out a cartridge. And sometimes, especially out here in Hawaii, we don't really have a whole lot of places to buy games aside from Best Buy, which I'm boycotting, and GameStop. There's Walmart and Target as well. They're not specializing in games. If you're really looking for games, it's going to be Best Buy or GameStop. And I couldn't find anything more often than not, so I just downloaded digitally. And Amazon is probably about to go on that whole ban if they don't, reach out to me or get back in touch with me anyway. So, doing a lot of digital games. I have about 60 Nintendo Switch games digitally downloaded. I've basically run out of, when I had my 64 gig, I ran out of space. So I had to upgrade to 128 gigs. And right now I'm sitting at half of that being filled. And, yeah, these game files, especially if you're going to start downloading NBA 2K18 or WWE 2K18, they're going to take up space. For me, I know I've got a review copy of both coming in at some point. And I know that's going to eat up a significant amount of storage. It is what it is, I accept it. And maybe the best solution going forward is going to be just purely using, physical copies and letting whatever additional storage needs to be used just be used for that, the additional download. That way it takes off less stress of your own on your console. It is what it is. I don't understand the whole crying every other week. There's so much crying and entitlement on YouTube and just in the media in general, and I just take a big issue with it because I feel like we could do our due diligence of being informative, especially when you're on a national platform or a public platform and people are easily influenced by things you say. Why would you put it in a position to where what you say can tarnish another company? And also it creates a sense of unnecessary panic. Think back to the that whole beef with spawn wave or regurgitate wave. Spawn wave. Sorry, inside joke. Spawn wave and Blunty. How Spawn wave, he had to issue that apology for what he did about the SFAN's portable dock and how all that controversy it created when he went off the deep end and had people in a rage, and then he had to. Oh yeah, people, that's the A. If you go into Waipahu, hop on that bus. Y'all know what it is. But just how Spawn Wave had to issue apology after Blunty clapped back at him. And it's a very valid point. It's just because a lot of these, I'm going to say influencers, because that's what they are. They influence the masses. They influence them in the wrong direction. Like, it should be, I'm going to review this product. This is why it works for me. It may be different for you. Don't just trash something. Don't just incite people to get angry, because we live in a day and age where people have access to more information than ever in history. But for whatever reason, people choose to be ignorant. They choose not to research. They choose not to think. They choose not to do for themselves more often than not, because it is easier and more convenient to just have someone else do it. It's an unfortunate state of the world that we live in these days, but it is what it is. People, yeah, all that noise. People, for whatever reason, it's that, and that's gonna segue into the last thing I'm gonna talk about when it comes to like multi-level marketing. Even with that, I hear the complaint all the time. And yes, I just segued out of the gaming into multi-level marketing. Yes, organic conversations, people. Anyway, and just like when it comes to organic multi-level marketing, and I put up a Facebook status a couple days ago where I said, if you come to me about business, please leave me the fuck alone, because I don't want to hear anything about it. And there's a lot of people that came out saying, oh, they just want to help out. Oh, people got to start somewhere. This and this. Yes, I agree. People do have to start somewhere. However, the problem with starting somewhere, quote unquote, is that people, in doing that, will. In doing that, man, I just lost my train of thought. Let me drink this Rockstar and see if I can catch my train of thought. Okay, here we go. People said they gotta start somewhere. People need to educate others because everyone doesn't have access to the same level of information. I call bullshit completely on this, for the simple sake that you have a fucking cell phone with internet. Phones, you have access to the World Wide Web. You can Google, you can Bing, you can Ask Jeeves, you can Yahoo, you can Wikipedia, you can look up anything in this day and age. How can you tell me with a straight face that there's no way that everyone doesn't have access to the same amount of information when you have a fucking smartphone? Most people have tablets with a data plan. Right now, almost everybody has a laptop or a computer of some sort. How do you not have access to the same information? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It does not make any sense to me that anyone would logically use that as an argument, because information is there. If you choose to be a lazy fuck and not look something up for yourself, or you choose to be one of the people to say not everyone has the same type of opportunities, and maybe that's true on a case-by-case basis, but if you want something bad enough, you will get off your ass and make it happen. It's not gonna always be given to you, okay? But in the case of information and you have a smartphone, it will be given if you look it up. Because this is not the day and age of people who were born in the 50s or people who were born or living in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, and generations before that did not have access to instant media, instant information. This is a different day and age. How do we have the most access to content and information? It can be some of this dumbest generation. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't. And that's it. You got a smartphone, look something up. Research it. Multi-level marketing people. All this business opportunities. And then people saying, oh, I just need to educate people on reciprocal. Is it reciprocal? Residual income. You know, people need to be educated on having their money work for them. You need to have a constant flow of money. It's called working a goddamn job. Every 2 weeks or so, your ass will get a paycheck. That is a form of residual income. I'm sorry. Everyone, all these people, especially a lot of people I know out here in Hawaii, are looking for a quick fix, get rich scheme. Don't want to do anything. They don't want to put in the work. And that's not just in Hawaii. That's worldwide. That's everyone. That's everywhere. And to me, it's like, okay, you can either work for what you want. We can sit back and try to manipulate, because more often than not, multi-level marketing, you're pimping out or you're manipulating people, you know, to make yourself rich. And on a moral basis, I have an issue with that, and I don't condone it. Have I ever been in multi-level marketing? The only thing I've ever been in was Solvay, which is a phone service, which was cheap at the time before phone carriers got to where they are now, where there's no real reason to get an MDN from a smaller company if it's not T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, or Sprint. Because I mean, if you're in Hawaii, you can get Mobi, but Mobi's a piece of shit carrier. I wouldn't get that. If anything, I mean, you can get Cricket, which blows my mind. Cricket is out here in Hawaii, especially when it started in the South, and I was living in Memphis where it started. It was unlimited talk, text. Anyway, it just, the whole thing of making money off of people, and yeah, there are people who are very successful in it, but there's a lot of people I know that say, oh yeah, I would be making a lot of money if I just stayed with it. But here's the thing, you did not stay with it. There's a reason you didn't stay with it. Either you don't have the drive to stick with it and just con people more often than not, and that's just what it is, Anyway, that's my thought. I really don't like multi-level marketing. Please, if you ever hit me up saying you have a business opportunity, if it involves having to go to a seminar and whatever type of fucking bullshit, go outside to the beach, put some sandals on, and kick rocks, because I don't want to hear that. I don't want anything to do with multi-level marketing. And people, if you're listening to this podcast, please educate yourself on what multi-level marketing is, the companies that do it. I mean, there are some that, like, I guess Amway, you can make money on. There's the people that sell life insurance. But I'm sorry, if you got a good job, if you have a corporate job like me, I work in IT. My company takes care of everything. So I don't have to worry about that. If you got a good company, they'll take care of you, But a lot of people believe you need to buy this additional life insurance. Okay. If that's what you want, go ahead. But, the last bit of my little rant about people with multi-level marketing is I can't stand when motherfuckers who are broke, and I can see them working Securitas, walking around, trying to tell me about they got a money-making business opportunity that's going to revolutionize the world. These same bitches have been talking about this shit since we were in college and are still nowhere. And they're trying to tell me about business opportunities that will help me be debt-free, income-free. Bitch, I ain't got bills. I'm already debt-free. I'm going to quote my boy Steele. I'm already close to being A, 6-figure nigga. Anyway, if y'all don't know what that means, I'm close to having a 6-figure income. I'm only 20 grand away. So that wraps up this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had fun just rambling for 53 minutes, as it seems, or 44 minutes. I've had fun. This is a lot of fun. And expect more content. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to me on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Snapchat. Speaking of which, on Snapchat, I do need to become more active. On my social media links, I'm also on Facebook as well. You can check out my Facebook fan page. Everything. Ooh, yeah, I see you, baby. Wink your eyes on the side. I seen your girl. Anyway. You can follow me at MekelKasanova. That's MeKel. Kasanova with a K, not a C. So MekelKasanova. Kasanova. On Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find me that way. On YouTube, subscribe to me on YouTube if you haven't. We just hit 1,000 subscribers. Our next goal, next stop is going to be 10,000. And I'm going to be doing a big special giveaway at 10,000 subscribers. If you guys haven't already, you can catch my... Sorry, my throat's very dry this morning. It's 11:13 a.m. out here in beautiful Hawaii. And... yeah, I have a giveaway. I'm giving away a PlayStation 4 Pro, the Destiny Edition. I'm also going to be giving away the Xbox One X, Project Scorpio Edition. And I'm also giving away a Nintendo Switch Big Bundle. And I'm also going to announce the Metroid Samus Returns Special Edition game along with the console giveaway. So, if you guys are interested, I haven't put up the links for the other two. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Probably by the time this is posted, I'll have those Gleam giveaway links down below. Oh, God, Gleam. I could have... Okay, I worked things out with Gleam, so I'm not going to clap back at them again. We're on good terms now. But anyway, with Gleam, the Gleam links will be down in the description below. So, you'll be able to catch this podcast on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on Shout Engine, and on iTunes. Pretty simple. And, yeah, that just about wraps this up. Like I said, youtube.com/MekelJames, MekelJames. You'll be able to find me there. And, yeah, that wraps up this podcast. I had a lot of fun. Big shout out to Polytech's crew. That's going to consist of Steel Toro of 10s, DVZ and Media, Official Keith IT, Alpha Rakama of Rakama Tech, Trey of T5 Life Tech, or T5 Tech, Mr. Biggs, Cameron Biggs of Tech Etc. Podcast, the Tech Couple, consisting of Corey and Sharice, D Light, Dwan Lightfoot, and my wife is, my wife's part of it too. She goes by Leoa Joy. So, I believe that's everybody. I don't think I left anybody out. Oh yeah. Also, subscribe to Player Essence. Check him out, man. That's my boy. He's got the greatest gaming content on YouTube, on a podcast, and on social media. So, Player Essence, go check him out. Also check out Dr. Trey 81. Dr. Trey is always killing it. And that's just about it. I catch y'all in the next one. Deuces Wild. It's your boy MekelKasanova. I'm signing out.
It's the motherfucking Prince. I could fuck your girl, but I'd rather fuck her friend. Gone up in the club, diddy bopping off the hand. Back to the telly with some white girls. Fuck with the alumni. Super wavy in this bitch. Fuck is my money, ho. Stewie in this bitch. Looking for a quarter of the hydro. Rolling on my windows in the coupe like a flight. Bitch, you know the name. Every time you see me in your city, ho. Bitch, you know. Bitch, you know the name. You might see me rolling up a pound of dro. Bitch, you know. Bitch, you know the name. Every time you see me in your city, how? Bitch, you know, bitch, you know, bitch, you know the name. You might see me rolling up a pound of dro. Bitch, you know, bitch, you know, bitch, you know. Bitch, you know the way that I'm getting down. My weight, my chick, my fit, my snapback, you ain't never seen before. Brought a pound of dro to smoke, that's a lot of swishes, bro. When we step up in the club, where your girl and sister go. Girl must be a stalker, cause she following like Twitter. And that bitch know my name, so it ain't hard for me to get her. She dancing at my table and she pulling on my zipper. She act right and she look right, then I promise I'm a flipper. Every time you see me in your city, how? Bitch, you know, bitch, you know, bitch, you know the name. You might see me rolling up a pound of dro. Bitch, you know, bitch, you know, bitch, you know the name. Every time you see me in your city, how? Bitch, you know, bitch, you know, bitch, you know the name. You might see me rolling up a pound of dro. Bitch, you know, bitch, you know, bitch, you know.